Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Hi. That was relatively easy. I guess I'm used to teenagers. Well, good morning. For those of you I haven't had the chance to meet, my name is Brian Herstig, and I am the president and CEO of the Jewish Federation of St. Louis, and I'd like to welcome you to our first ever Impact Breakfast. We thought we'd try something a little different this year and hold our annual meeting in the morning with plenty of coffee to keep you awake. So thank you if you're not a morning person. I know at least one of you told me you're not. This morning is about several things, but to me, the most important thing is reporting out to you, to the community, on what we helped make happen with your generous support this past year, our impact. And I'd like to acknowledge first the professional partners in the audience, the people who lead our communal and work at our communal organizations and provide direct service to the community. Thank you for your partnership and leadership. And now I'd like to ask Rabbi Janine Schloss to come up to give the invocation.
It has been said that the strength of a piece of cloth is based on the strength of the threads with which the whole is woven. The tapestry of the work of Jewish Federation of St. Louis has in it threads of many colors, golds and blues and reds and purples. We began to weave our tapestry over 100 years ago. Each generation has added its own patterns and colors, adding strength and brilliance to the whole. Now the tapestry is in our hands. We determine the pattern, we determine the colors. We add threads that tell the stories of our lives as individuals, as families, as a community, and as a people. We do honor to those who came before us by our weaving. We also prepare for the future by creating a tapestry that is beautiful and strong, a tapestry that we can pass on to our children and our grandchildren. The weaving, though, is no easy task. After all, we do this work to preserve and enhance Jewish life in St. Louis, in Israel, and around the world. These are a lot of threads. It is hard to bring them together, and sometimes they feel like they are unraveling. Yet we persist because we know that the weaving has been difficult for past generations as well, and yet the tapestry is still here for us. If they could do it, we can do it too. So we continue to fight through the hard times, to fix our mistakes when we can, to learn from our experiences, and move forward with the work. Today we gather to pay special tribute to everyone who has contributed even one single thread to the larger tapestry. The staff, the leadership, our partners, and every single volunteer and donor. This work takes dedication of the mind, devotion of the heart, and determination of the spirit. Today we say thank you, thank you. Today we also celebrate all that we have accomplished. With everyone working together, we have created a fabric that is so unique, so strong, so meaningful, and so life-changing for so many. May we continue to have the strength to meet whatever challenges may come. May we continue to have the creativity, flexibility, and inspiration to move our vision forward. May we continue to have the compassion, sensitivity, and humility to remember everyone whose lives are touched by this sacred work. We thank God for the blessing of being a part of the glorious tapestry that is Jewish Federation of St. Louis, and let us say together, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Schloss. Well, so January marked the beginning of my 4th year as president and CEO of the Jewish Federation of St. Louis. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the incredibly hard work of the entire Federation staff over the last year. Yeah, absolutely. As I reflect and report on 2022, I am most proud of my team and their strength, expertise, creativity, flexibility, and dedication to our community. Though we have all emerged from COVID, we continue to face numerous challenges. In particular, we at Federation are facing the same nationwide staffing transitions and hiring challenges and changes in philanthropy that are going on in the American public. I am pleased to share that we begin 2023 with a complete and solid leadership team and a growing staff, and that the executive committee, board, and new board chair, who you'll hear from later, are engaged and are working tirelessly alongside us as we rebuild and, more importantly, reimagine what it means to be the Jewish Federation in 2023. To frame 2022, I'd like to share with you our fundraising challenges and successes through our Total Financial Resource Development lens, or TFRD. Federation was built on the annual campaign, and while that is still a driving force of our fundraising work, we've adjusted how we fundraise to reflect changes in our donor base and how you, our supporters, want to engage with us and support the community. That means we have moved to a more holistic model that includes many different ways of giving, not just through the traditional annual campaign. Our total dollars raised in 2022 were over $17.1 million. This includes donations to the annual campaign and supplemental campaigns in support of the Holocaust Museum and Ukraine, as well as dollars committed to donor advised funds, endowments, supporting foundations, and other planned gifts. The generosity of this community and so many of you in this room is inspirational and not to be taken for granted at any time. And though we didn't reach our annual campaign goal, we did see increases in corporate sponsorship, donor advised funds, and funds raised for supplemental campaigns. You should all know we have already taken the time to learn what did and did not work for us last year, and we're going to use those lessons to increase not only our donations, but our impact in the community, and here in St. Louis and around the world. Now, to spend a moment looking specifically at the Ukraine supplemental campaign in 2022, every one of the 146 federations across North America came together to help support the needs emerging from this crisis. Since this war has started, the federation system has helped 180,000 Ukrainian refugees, has provided humanitarian assistance to over 500,000 people, and has raised over $85 million. We in St. Louis raised almost $800,000, and I was touched by the generosity of our community. I was also touched when I visited our partnership region in Israel in October and heard a 90-year-old Holocaust survivor who had to flee Ukraine for the third time in his life. He was taken care of by one of our main overseas partners, the Jewish Agency for Israel, or JAFE. This man, who had suffered so much, was rescued and relocated to our partnership region, where he has been cared for and protected and will live out the rest of his life. It is stories like these that answer the question, why we are here. And there are other examples of why we are here. We are here to invest in our community's early childhood centers and educators. This year, we provided 143 early childhood educators with professional development and training. Educators like Ellie, who gained confidence in her skills, and whose director reported that she made positive changes to her overall classroom approach. We are here to provide interest-free loans through the newly relaunched St. Louis Jewish Loan Association for people like Ben, who needed a loan to get his car fixed so he could get to his job and keep him from further debt. We are here to provide community security. Scott Biondo and his staff conducted 85 security trainings and provided security for over 130 events in 2022. Unfortunately, the need for security is only increasing. The examples above and many more are covered by our 4 commitments, which you can see on the screens. These are only a few examples of the impact that we make through your support. We do so much more. And if you'd like to see that, including the dollars that we provide to support each of our partners, Please take a look at the impact report that is on your seat, and as Rabbi Schloss kind of said, it is very colorful. Each color relates to one of our different core commitment areas. But the heart of why we are here is building community. We build community. No one else does it as broadly and as strategically as we do. Federation builds a vibrant, flourishing Jewish community in three primary ways. The first is leading. We lead by creating and strengthening relationships across all parts of our community and convening our partners around the most pressing topics for the Jewish community today. Things like a community study, which we have recently launched. The second is connecting. Whether through the events we hold, the programming we put on, committee involvement, affinity group membership, or volunteering, there are many ways we provide opportunities for connection. But we also connect individuals to their Jewish identity by supporting synagogues, day schools, youth and teen programs, cultural events, and more. And we connect people with Jewish communities around the world, particularly our partnership region of Yokneam and Megiddo. The third is enhancing our community partners' success. Support of our community partners comes in many different forms. We invest significant dollars in our partners, over $9.8 million from the annual campaign in 2022, to help assure that identified community needs are met. We share our expertise with our partners, and we provide professional and lay leadership development to our partners and the community through initiatives like JPro STL and the Millstone Institute. Now, given what is going on in Israel right now, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk for a minute about our investments in our 25 community partners located there. These partners and programs, many of them long-term, focus on social welfare, civil society, Israel education, and engagement. These investments are not only about the dollars we provide, but the relationships that we have built over many years with the people of Israel. Our investments, both financially and personally, help to strengthen and preserve Israel's democratic civil society and pluralistic character. We remain committed to helping build Israeli civil society and to enhancing relations between Israeli and worldwide Jews, and we reaffirm that both are critically important to the well-being of the global Jewish people. We stand firmly committed to our historic, collaborative, collective responsibility to ensure that Israel remains a vibrant, democratic homeland for the Jewish people. Our love and commitment to Israel transcends any one government, any one point in time, and any particular policy or statement. Our community is an ecosystem of organizations interacting with each other and every member of the community to ensure a vibrant, diverse, balanced, and accessible approach to Jewish life. I'm looking forward to the work ahead of us next year and to your continued support to help Federation build our vibrant, flourishing Jewish community. We are here because of you. Thank you for your partnership. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our new chair of the board, Bob Newmark.
Well, good morning to all of you. Thank you, Brian, for your leadership and for that great summary of the work that we're doing and the impact that we're having. It is a true privilege for me to stand up here today in the role as board chair of the Jewish Federation of St. Louis. I have such admiration and respect for my predecessors in this role, so many of whom have been my mentors and role models personally throughout my life, including Jay Sarver and Sheila Greenbaum, Heschel Raskus, Mont Levy, Bob Millstone, Patty Krogan, and Michael Litwack. And of course, my father, who held this role some 30 years ago. I know several of you who have served as board chair or board president are here today, and I ask each of you to stand or wave to be acknowledged. thank you for your continued service to our community. And a special thank you to my immediate predecessor, Greg Yowitz, who took on an extra 18 months in the role and worked tirelessly to tie down loose ends before I took over. In prior iterations of this event, Greg would literally have passed the gavel to me, and he would have had the opportunity to reflect on his term. And while our new format does not call for such reflections, I would like to note that Greg's leadership was extraordinary, especially during a CEO transition and then the COVID-19 pandemic, not to mention the launching of our community's new Holocaust Museum. Greg, we are grateful to you for your sacrifice of time and your many contributions as leader of our community. So we gather today to share with our community a report on the impact that we as Federation are having and to honor the recipients of some of our most important awards. I am personally inspired by the great work done by our honorees, and I offer my congratulations to Craig, Elliot, Shira, and to Atlas Supply Company on the recognition you received today. It is because of people and organizations like you that we have a thriving Jewish community in St. Louis today. Many members of our board are here today as well, and I would like to ask each of you present to stand or wave to be recognized. It is indeed a real honor for me to work with this amazing group of dedicated community members and bring such a diverse array of backgrounds and perspectives to our work. So thank you to all you are doing to make our community better. So the last point I wanted to make at this point is that we have an amazing professional staff here. And in particular, I'd like to call out the work of Amanda Miller, who is primarily responsible for the logistics and the publicity around our event today. You've done an amazing job, and thank you for all you're doing. So I think the most common comment or question that I've received since taking on this role is why? As in, why am I doing this? And I hope that you will indulge me for a couple of minutes here to explain myself. As many of you know, I come from a not particularly observant Reformed Jewish family. Given my family lineage, I am at once a second-generation American and also a 13th-generation American, with a grandfather who was born in Hungary and a grandmother whose family first came to these shores in the 1630s. I went to Clayton High School, as did one of my grandmothers and my parents and my children, and I found my way to Princeton for college. Now, Princeton, although known occasionally as a basketball powerhouse, it's not particularly known for being friendly to Jews. But interestingly for me, my experience during those years brought me closer to my own Judaism, largely through the close friendships forged with other Jewish students. And my closest group of friends from those days, 4 of the 6 of us are Jewish. And I also befriended Rabbi Janine Schloss in those days. We were classmates and fellow Eating Club members. And I am truly thrilled to serve together with Janine today on the Federation board. So I was not a Hillel kid, but I wound up spending High Holy Days and Passover with my friends and their families. And I began to consciously recognize what I perhaps already knew on some level from my childhood days. When my grandfather, some of you may remember Mel, would strategically position himself on the steps of the old United Hebrew Synagogue on Skinker, between the early and the late High Holy Day services, to meet and greet everyone, while never actually staying for either service. So what I think I consciously began to realize is that being part of an engaged community is the very essence of Judaism. Breaking bread over holidays, sharing stories, and striving to repair the world together. These things can bring intense meaning and joy to our lives. So you see, for me, it is all about community. And I'm not going to stand up here and pretend to be your rabbi and tell you that community is God. But I will tell you that I personally have found fulfillment in my own life from being part of many communities, the most important of which has and continues to be our Jewish community. So when my wife, Kara, and I decided to settle in St. Louis after law school, I connected with the Young Professionals Division of Federation. And I marvel at how many others active in our community today were also engaged with YPD back then, and how the friendships forged have carried through to this day. And then I served on what we used to call an allocations panel with Sheila Greenbaum at the helm, and later on the allocations committee, and about 10 years ago, I joined the board. To have a thriving community, we have to nurture it, and I have and will continue to do my part. So that's the logical explanation of why, but it doesn't really tell the whole story. So let me share another perspective on this point. Last September, Kara and I found ourselves in Venice on a delayed celebration of our 25th wedding anniversary. Venice remains a beautiful and romantic city, and we had a great visit. We decided to take in a tour of the Jewish ghetto while we were there. I don't know if you all know this. It turns out the word ghetto has its origins there in Venice. It was built in the late 1400s. Then a thriving center of commerce, as documented in Shakespeare's work, The Merchant of Venice. Jews fleeing from the Inquisition made their way to Venice and sought a place to live. And the Venetian government decided to allocate some recently abandoned land to the Jews. That land had been the location of the Venetian armory that had just been relocated. So the Venetian word for armory is ghetto. And that's how we know that it originated right there. Anyway, I digress. That's not really the story I wanted to share. So has anyone here heard the story of Giuseppe Jonah? So Giuseppe was a Jew born in the late 1860s in Venice. And he went on to be educated and trained as a doctor. He worked in hospitals and was highly decorated and respected as a leader in his profession. And then came the Shoah. And Giuseppe was forced out of the practice of medicine in 1940. But Giuseppe had led a great career. He was in his late 70s by then, and he decided to do something for the community. And so he became president of the Jewish community of Venice. Feeling some kind of kinship with Giuseppe, I kind of leaned in to learn the rest of his story. And when in 1943 the Nazis escalated their efforts to deport Jews to concentration camps in other parts of Europe, Giuseppe realized he had a problem. He had all of the records of the Venetian Jewish community, and he knew nearly all of the families personally. So he burned all of the records. And then, fearing that he would be captured, tortured, and forced to disclose identities, he took his own life. And in so doing, he saved 1,100 people out of a total community of about 1,350. So as I learned of this brave man, I also reflected on the role that I had agreed to take on for our community. I, of course, asked myself, what have I gotten myself into? Would I be so brave? But I also reflected on this man's incredible love for his community, so strong and powerful that he would make the ultimate sacrifice. That, my friends, is the power of community, to look out for one another and to sacrifice for one another and for the greater good. Okay, I fear I may be running on a little bit here, but I have one more story for you, and this one's a little bit closer to home. Does anyone remember the Mary Tyler Moore Show? Remember that Mary's best friend was a woman named Rhoda, who was a quintessentially Jewish woman from New York. So we have a Rhoda here in St. Louis, probably many Rhodas. But at least I will call her Rhoda for purposes of this story to protect her true identity. In early 2020, our Rhoda was 80 years old and living in an apartment in U City, where she had lived for almost her entire adult life. Her family had moved away, and her husband had died in the early 2000s. COVID struck, and she was suddenly very isolated. And then she fell, and she broke her hip. So Rhoda was taken to Barnes Jewish Hospital, where she actually had a full recovery in the midst of COVID, but it was very clear that she could not go back to her apartment. She needed an environment with other people around. She called Federation, and we were able to help her get settled into Crown Center, one of our partner agencies. Rhoda lives at Crown Center today, surrounded by new friends and engaging activities. This, my friends, is another perspective on what it means to have a community, where we invest in the resources that our community members need and look out for one another. So our community has been tested in recent times, with the pandemic isolating each of us, and with political divisiveness in our broader society creating barriers to connection. We are not immune to these external forces. In fact, these forces are a major reason why I believe now, more than ever, we need to invest in our community. We need to invest to keep our community safe from threats like Giuseppe faced. And we need to invest to make our community welcoming and supportive, to address the needs that people like our Rhoda have. And we all need a federation that can serve as a bridge to connect us to one another and to the resources that many of us need. So that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing. But before I go, let me ask you, why are you here? What is your story? Our board has been working on our own personal stories, and we invite you to reflect on your own and then to share it with others. I also ask you to join me in investing in our community over the coming year or two. When you learn of a community member in need of assistance, let us know. We will do our best to help. When you think of someone who has the means to engage in our work with us, ask them to join or introduce us to them. And when you hear about an event we are hosting, please make time to participate, and better yet, bring along a friend and connect with others in our community to help us build together a better thriving Jewish community here in St. Louis. Thank you.
Each year, we recognize our community's commitments to each other. Volunteer leadership occurs throughout the Jewish Federation of St. Louis. To recognize outstanding active leadership in the organization, the David N. and Rosalind Grossberg Young Leadership Award was established in 1961 by the Grossberg family. This year's Grossberg Young Leadership Award goes to Shira Berkowitz and Elliot Kleiman for their exceptional leadership. I would first like to begin with recognizing Shira Berkowitz. Shira is an artist, a policy strategist, and a social entrepreneur. Shira is one of the founding board members of Ma Tovu, a Jewish neighborhood center in the city of St. Louis, and also serves on the Jewish Federation's board of directors. Shira leads numerous organizations, such as Promo, an organization striving to achieve comprehensive equity for LGBTQ plus Missourians. They were a founding member of MARSH, a queer bioculture laboratory and mutual aid hub, and also founded Camp Indigo Point, which is a camp for LGBTQ plus youth in the Midwest. Camp Indigo Point is a place they wish they had when they were young and are most proud of starting this camp. Jewish Summer Camp was where their identity started, and now they get to share it with Indigo Point and its young people today. Shira is dedicated to building spaces for people to grow as a community while addressing civic and social challenges in our built environment. Congratulations, Shira, for receiving the Grossberg Young Leadership Award. I would next like to recognize Elliot Kleiman. Elliot continues to show his leadership as an engaged member of Jewish Federation. He has continually taken on leadership roles, such as serving as the current board chair for the Federation's Young Professionals Division, YPD. Elliot started the first YPD Trivia Night a couple of years ago, and it has become a very successful annual event. In fact, they just had over 100 people attend YPD Trivia Night just last week. Elliot previously served as the Vice Chair of Philanthropy and currently serves on the Israel and Overseas Committee. Elliot doesn't just invest his time. He's also a member of the Ben Gurion Society and is also active in professional societies as well, both giving societies of Federation. Elliot completed the Millstone Fellowship Program and professionally is the owner of Marrow Properties, which invests in real estate and provides property management. Elliot has been, and we hope he will continue to lead the way at Jewish Federation. Congratulations, Elliot, for receiving the Grossberg Young Leadership Award. We also wanted to mention, because of the generosity of the Grossberg family, we're honored to provide to you both a significant honorarium to attend a leadership or Jewish education program of your choice. Congratulations.
Each year, Federation recognizes an outstanding professional among those who have worked for at least 5 years and have made significant impact on the community. I am honored to introduce Craig Newman as this year's Fred A. Goldstein Award for Professional Leadership. Craig has spent the past 31 years in Jewish communal work. His current role is Chief Program Officer at the St. Louis Jewish Community Center, where he oversees most of the programs the J provides for our kids. Everything. Craig has been involved in Federation and is a past president of JPRO, Jewish Federations Association for staff who work throughout the St. Louis Jewish community, and also a former recipient of the JPRO Mentor Award. Craig and his family are members of Congregation B'nai Amunah, where he served on the board of trustees and is very involved as a leader, facilitator, and mentor. Craig started his career as a performer and actor and has recently gone back to the stage and appeared in productions at the New Jewish Theater. Craig loves what he does, and one of the most exciting parts of his job is dressing up as a dreidel and greeting folks at the Missouri Botanical Gardens as part of a Hanukkah celebration. I'm sure that's one of many opportunities for you to dress up. Craig's energy and leadership are inspirational, and he brings that to everything he does. I'd like to ask Craig to come to the stage to accept the Fred A. Goldstein Award for Professional Leadership. That was fun. I would like to now welcome Ken Rubin. Ken is a partner at Reuben Brown, and Reuben Brown has been presenting the Reuben Brown Corporate Leadership Award since 2014 to an outstanding business partner.
Thanks, Karen. Reuben Brown is thrilled to sponsor the Corporate Leadership Award once again this year and continue our long, successful association with the Federation. It's vital that corporations recognize the importance of partnering with Federation, and we're proud that Reuben Brown was among the first to do so. This award goes to a company that also has long exemplified philanthropic leadership and partnership with the Federation. The 2023 Reuben Brown Corporate Leadership Award goes to Atlas Supply, which was selected for its steadfast support of Federation and the Jewish community. Atlas Supply Company remains a successful and growing family business now led by its third generation of Suffians, Brent, Lee, and Joel. Atlas has exemplified philanthropic leadership in our community for over 80 years with 3 generations of Suffians at the helm. Jewish Federation of St. Louis is honored to present Atlas Supply Company with the Reuben Brown Corporate Leadership Award. I would like to welcome Brent, Lee, and Joel to the podium to accept the award on behalf of Atlas Supply. Congratulations.
So Ken, I'm going to ask you to stay up here for a minute. Come on up here next to me. So in 2014, Ken Rubin started the Reuben Brown Corporate Leadership Award to inspire other corporations to do what he and his family did, invest in and support the community. And this year, this award has been given every year by Ken, and it is a personal passion of his. We want to take this opportunity, Ken, to recognize you for the dedication to philanthropy and what you have done to enhance our community in a meaningful way. You've been a board member of Federation, served, I think, as the president of the board of the Central Agency for Jewish Education, and are currently president of the board for the JCA Charitable Foundation. And after 44 years, you are taking a well-deserved retirement. We'd like to take this time to say thank you to you for your leadership, for your commitment, and the example that you have set in making St. Louis a better place, especially in the Jewish community. And we wish you the best on your retirement and know you will continue to be a dedicated philanthropist, philanthropic leader, and leader in our community.
Thanks, Brian.
Come on, sit. All right, believe it or not, that is it. So thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time, we really appreciate your time, and all that you do to support our vibrant Jewish community. There is plenty of coffee and food in the atrium. You're welcome to stay since, you've got an extra 20 minutes. But I would also be remiss if I did not say, for those of you from here, go Cards. I will say, go Guardians. Enjoy opening day. Thank you for coming.